Yeah, the noise on the yoink is a little weird. It's like a cross between like a groan and a fart. The smother mother is just like, it's like a weird burp fart. Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back. It's Sunday night, and to be honest, I needed the Sunday night. Why is that? Well, really, I am exhausted. It's been a long weekend thanks to Fright Night. Shout out once again to all the competitors. Shout out to Shadow Force for taking the whole event down. And shout out to the devs for providing all the support. But it does leave me a little drained. But you know what's good when you're drained, chat? You know what's really good when you're drained and tired, but you want more Phobies? Some viewer games. They give me energy, they give me life. Let's see what we've got on the docket tonight. Let's get to it. Quick aside, everybody, before we get into the actual content, I was accepted into the Phobies Content Affiliate Program, the content creator program, you might call it. Shout out to the Phobies team, and thank you for that. But the reason I'm telling you, everybody out there, dear viewer, dear listener, is to let everybody know that I do receive some compensation from the Phobies team as a result of being part of that program. Now, I loved Phobies before, and I still love Phobies now, and I expect I will still continue to love Phobies in the future. So look forward to more Phobies content coming from Random's Thoughts. So now, on with the show. Hoodies always looking so comfy. That's what I live for. Honestly, I love hoodies. Like, I really do love hoodies. It's funny, because I remember as a kid, this would be me playing Warcraft 3 for hours. Like, no joke. Like, no joke. Hoodies all the time. Hoodies and gym shorts is kind of how I live. It's going to get, it was basically too hot for it already. The weather is right now by me is in that weird position where it's like, in the morning it's cold. I always hate this weather. In the morning it's cold and then it's warm. And it's always just warm enough that if you wear a sweatshirt or a hoodie or something, you are sweltering. But then the second you take it off, it's like, bam, the Arctic. It's like, for the love of God, Mother Nature, can you figure this out, please? She never can. It's always a disaster. It's a disaster every time. But yeah, rocking the hoodie at the moment. We'll see. I'll probably warm up by the end of the night. What was the shirt today? I don't even remember what shirt I was wearing. Oh yeah, it's one of my new dinosaur shirts. I forgot. I picked this one up a few months ago. My wife gave it to me as a gift that I knew was coming, kind of thing. Like, we bought. I'm like, oh, that's a cool shirt. She went and bought it. I witnessed her buy it, and then I got it as a Christmas gift. I'm like, all right. At least I know I'm getting things I like, right? My wife's good about that. In general, anyway, even when we don't, not necessarily when I clearly pick it out, you know what I mean? But anyway. So aside from Fright Night, we do have roughly 70 million games once again in the hopper. We're not going to get through all of them. We're just not. It's just not going to happen. There's 19 in the list right now. I do have to rearrange some of them. As I'm looking at it, there are some, not dupes, but some multi-entries. So just fixing that real quick. But we're going to start off with a subscriber game. Start off with a subscriber game that Hakunay was actually pretty hyped. That to have submitted. Get my first Dreadful in less than an hour? Nice. Let us know, Urk. Fingers crossed. Good luck. Who is this against? Here it is. Oh my god. So we're kicking things off with a Hakunay game replay. You may have seen by the time this goes live one of the other Hakunay games. If not, keep an eye out for that. Right here on the Random's Thoughts YouTube channel. By the way, this is also getting cast live on the Random's Thoughts live stream over on Twitch. Links for both are, of course, in the description alongside the Discord. Although if you're finding this, the link for the YouTube wouldn't make much sense because you're watching this on YouTube. But if you found that amusing, that weird convection of failed sentence structure, then give me a like and subscribe. If you didn't like it, like and subscribe anyway. But all we got for notes here from Hakunay up against Dragon, a Clash of the Titans here, is ... Yes, winky face. The old winky face. Let's see what we got in order here. Now, I know Hakunay had mentioned that there was another game Another game, and I see it. I think we cast that one the other night. We'll have to see how this goes, but we do have 42 turns. Chat's joking around. We got a little hashtag 420 turns, I guess. Sort of. God help us if we actually had that. I would skip through all the turns again like that other one we had. But we get some Steves going on early, and the answer is Boss. We did see Boss almost punt a game yesterday in Fright Night. What's Fright Night? Well, if you're interested in Phobies tournaments, whether it's Fright Night or it's Tiny Terrors, what are those? Hit up the Random Sods Discord. You'll find out. Check it out. I got a wiggly straw, chap. I got a wiggly straw. It's not really a curly straw. It's just one of those bendy straws. It amuses me. It's the simple things in life, chat, that you have to take pleasure in. So the answer here from Hakunay to the Boss is Smiley and then clustering. Now, this is a common thing that a lot of people try. We've seen actually a lot of Smileys recently in response to Mildreds from a variety of players, including Hakunay and including Big She. But in this particular case, it's going to try and answer a Boss. For anybody wondering why out there, well, you're fired as an AoE. It discourages the usage thereof. And time, if you're a Rolling Stones fan or you've seen the movie Fallen, time is on my side if you're Hakunay, because Steves is just going to drop trap after trap after trap after trap. Now, the Boss, of course, can help thaw the Ice Age that is going to be caused by Steve. Your hired ability when? I was trying quickly to come up with a comparison to the current board state, but it eludes me. You'll have to let me know, chat, if you come up with something. YouTube, hit me up in the comments. And we get a Brony. It's a bold move, Cotton. I don't know about that one. I forgot that Boss AoE can activate Smiley. Yup, it is an interesting AoE counter. Ah, Hakunay, you're here. Is the second game the one we looked at the other day? So I can take it off the list? I know we did one the other day, but I don't think I took it off the list, and I'm just making sure I'm not going to miss something. So we have maxed out Phobies on both sides, and the tractor came out for our hero here. The Brony is... I'll be honest, I kind of get it, but I don't get it. That is the one? Okay, then I'll pull that one, so that way we don't dupe it up. Don't get dupe action going on. That would have been later in the night anyway, but... That was a Mildred game, if anybody's worrying. That's the one that I was talking about. You'll probably catch it on an independent YouTube video. But here, we're getting the rearranging. Point of note to people who are trying to learn from... Whenever you see, and you should be trying to learn from every game, but especially when you see players of this caliber squaring off against each other. Both Dragon and Hakunay, virtually permanent residents at the top of the ladder. Hakunay plays very well in the most recent Fright Night. Both players had elected until turn 22 to even bother. Oh my god, this play is actually savage. Hold on. We got to talk about this play. We have to talk about this play. So, first thing I want to point out is that neither player was taking the center point till turn 22. A huge amount of respect from both players for each other and also trying to make appropriate plays. But here's the thing. This is a cool play that comes out here. Getting the Smiley set up in one of the southern corners here, then getting the yoink onto the whole team to try and get pull here. Now, it unfortunately doesn't quite work out in the ideal scenario. What would have the ideal scenario been? Well, it would have probably been pulling Boss forward in order to try and get the Smiley to connect. But ultimately, Hakunay does know that there's a trap and then locks the board down there by stunting the offensive from Dragon. Now, realistically, this results in a dead Smiley. You could argue that was 5 keys incinerated, but remember how much of the game was changed by the actions that happened up to this point. Now, one of the other points here, I mean, Brony, not Droney, gets frozen. Okay, it happens. But the Brony, because of the positioning, now has powered off Boss, leaving Hevo as the only, we'll say, functional phobie on the board. Oh, Luffy, you got to see the new map, by the way. You missed the Squiggles tech from the other night on the new map. Chat, you're going to have to fill Luffy in because Luffy might be interested in playing some more Phobies games. So we do get a little bit of thaw action going down on Brony. We're getting a follow-up Thunder Rocks, which is rare. Another trap going down. I mean, Steve's has had the whole game to set up. 1 key remaining for our hero, 0 for bad guy. You remember lurking for that game while I was playing League? Could tell something exciting was going on? It is... The map is made for heart rushing. Like, the ideal strategy at the moment is just beeline for the heart. Don't do anything else. That's a video for another time, which, by the way, you can check that video out on the Random Thoughts YouTube channel as well. Can I veto maps yet? Not main client, but yes, in Fright Night. So we get a takedown on the Thunder Rocks. It doesn't look like it really appeared to do a whole hell of a lot. I mean, don't get me wrong. It got up in there. It required some hits. It got a tag on this Hevo, but is a single hit sufficient? It was only a single hit, right? I was kind of eyeballing chat at the time. But realistically, we do get this yoink. That should yield a takedown thanks to the stabby that was already pre-positioned. Panic point advantage is going to go in favor of our hero. And we get a muffin. So to be honest, at this point in time, this is still a dangerous proposition for our hero here. The reason being is that although there's a Brony, so effectively your opponent has boss Bowmangles and then Cat, and a very damaged Bowmangles at that, you don't have a whole lot to do as our hero either. Both players are reduced to what are our cooldowns going to do. And as I mentioned earlier, time is on the side of our orange player here, thanks to Steve's. Steve's, of course, being Jeeves up here. Every turn that goes by that an advance or advantage is not pushed by our blue player means that these traps are getting laid out all over the place. Trap number 1, case in point. I mean, something was going to get frozen on this point. I've completely lost count of the traps at this point and the cooldowns. Like, mentally, I'm not keeping track of it. But because of this particular freeze, this does cause some weird issues with positioning because you can't just simply move the Brony out of the way. Unless you thought like this, but you have to spend some time doing these things in order to actually, like, traverse through the center in the appropriate way. Oh no, the muffin got Bronied. This game is basically going to be wait for one of your Phobies ability, dive in, kill something, repeat. And that's the thing, is it is going to be a delicate, and has been a delicate dance of utilizing the abilities to their fullest. And you would think, as we've seen in a lot of games, aside from boss just, okay, boss comes down and takes over a game, right? We've seen a lot of games, not just where boss takes over a game, but you would think in this particular scenario that boss would be at an advantage because it's, oh, you froze one of my Phobies. Well, I'll just thaw it with boss. And that is not really how this has gone down, for the most part. Up to this point, I mean, there's panic point advantage blue right now, but our hero has been able to leverage a lot of things so far. Multiple traps going down, getting 2 more icicles added to the collection. Interestingly enough, Hakunay has put a fair amount of effort into beating up Brony. So you get the takedown on the Bowmangles, and then just like that, it's basically boss and a frozen cat. Now, the cat can be thawed. I put in the request, the suggestion again to have permanent health bars, chat. I really think that would be very helpful for all these replays, so I don't have to keep doing this. Steve's getting pulled into position thanks to the Brony. Elimination of the cat. And just like that, it's boss versus Stabby, Jeeves, and a Tractor. And the boss is still fairly healthy, but realistically, you kill this, you're going to take a bunch of damage, you have to contend with traps. There's an attractor to pull you out of position. An earned concession here. An earned concession here. Like, I think this was very well played by Hakunay and showcases another example of how you can play against boss, even at this seeming disadvantage. If you're having trouble with boss, this is a game to go examine, because this boss came down and try and figure out what's going on. But GG, well played. Speaking of W's, let's take a look at a Gakuen game. Orange Trunks on one of the new maps. Fun with Hydra and Blondie, 2 in the same game. This ought to be exciting. Now, this map is not the newest map any longer, at least at the time of this recording. We got Mesophobe as the new large map in the pool, and that one has some interesting quirks, we'll say. No, this is not the Heart Rusher, Luffy. Although we've seen some heart dives. It's not necessarily, oh, I'm going for the heart from the outset, but we've seen heart dives on this map. It is the same tile set. All 3 of the new maps, I believe, are using the same tile set. This is the new one. Yeah, this, from what Chad had told me before, this was one of the contest winners from months ago. And Chad, correct me if I'm wrong, or YouTube, correct me if I'm wrong. I think that was the case here. This map, we've seen a variety of different things, notably from both players here. Neither of them led off with Snowball to cap the center point, which has been a common opener. We did watch a Hakunay game, I believe, on this the other day. We've seen a big She game on here the other day. This seems to be a Mildred map to a degree, but instead we're seeing Crushmore, Gravedigger, and Hydra. So this is coming up real quick. We get a Jill also. Panic point advantage is going in favor of bad guy, but, you know, a lot of fighting is going to go over the middle here. An early, well, somewhat early, well, yeah, I guess still pretty early. Steve's. Haven't seen Steve's on this map. Kind of feel blow my mind killing Dimensional Phobie with Raucous because of his passive ability. Huh. That's actually interesting. It's a good point. You kind of forced a cluster on this map so I could see it being a Mildred map. Exactly. That's what we were discussing the other night. Only because Big She and me plays Mildred doesn't make it quite the Mildred map. No, I think this is a Mildred favorable map. But Mildred's an ultra rare, right? So realistically, you're just not going to see a lot of Mildred. Okay, time out. What? So I was going to call out the Droney. As compared to Snowball, which can cap the center and then back cap a point, Snowball can't traverse the top in one shot. It's actually 7 spaces across, so you're not going to make it. Droney, however, can cheat and get part way to cap your opponent's point by hanging out here on the Abyss. But what's really throwing me off is why the hell is this here? Why did this Snowball, this Cowbell go here? Like, I missed something. I was looking at chat and then I saw the Cowbell come through and nothing died and like, I mean, I guess it shooed the Droney away. Like, I don't know. It's weird. But we get the aggressive Gravedigger. This is like inviting Gravedigger to die. And by the way, we do actually get the Blondie. So we have Blondie and Hydra and backed up by a Noxious. There are tons of healing spas on this map, though. So Noxious is a little weird in the absence of, say, a Gonzo. But guess what? None of these Phobies are safe from the screech of Blondie, the death metal. I know it's metal something, right? Heavy metal. The mosh pit is upon us. Timeout. What the What? What? Why? Why is this happening? How do you let that happen? I feel like Gakuen just said this is happening. This is like... How much health does the enemy heart have? They're basically full health. They're basically full health, but I mean, it's not gonna take that long to chew through this. We get the splash going down. Here's the hilarious part. Ah! You get the scream from Blondie. 91 damage. I mean, it's gonna get the electricity boost, but still. Morty! What is happening right now? Bad guy at least is like going into panic mode and going, oh my god, I need to cap panic points yesterday. So I wasn't wrong when I asked if this is the Heart Rusher. This is not normally what happens, Luffy. Okay, this is actually a cool play, bad guy. Gotta give it to him. The honey bear in order to turn off the stim. Shout out to bad guy. Yeah, Q, I'm pulling out all the stops of the high damaging phobies. This is like, oh, I'm coming for that heart. I'm coming for that heart. The repositioning here is interesting. Okay, we're walking Jill up. Are we going to see a Ted? Chat, there are 2 Hydras on the heart. Oh, and by the way, there is a Ted. Them newly deads juicing each other up. This is the kind of relationship you love to see. You gotta gas your partner up and be like, yeah, you get it. Get it. Except right now, it's bad guy's heart, and they're about to have some cardiac arrest. Do have the Thunder Rocks going in. Got a bunch of damage going down, including with the Zappy. So Blondie is going to bite the dust, but oh, by the way, yeah. Still powered down Steve's means that Morty lives. Hydra and Blondie body blocking while Morty and Jill try to destroy the heart. I mean, you got to do what you got to do. Look at those hearts. It's adorable, chat. It's adorable. This is a ton of damage also, by the way. Just mere moments ago, over 8k health. Now, admittedly, all of these phobies are back online, though. All these phobies are back online. Damage-wise, we're talking about. I don't quite get the droney repositioning here. I almost would rather have had it stay here, just to hold the panic point and then maybe fly in, because it feels like they're just going to kill it trivially and it doesn't matter. Snowball coming in to eliminate the Ted, ruining the relationship. But chat, we have lobbers and we have flyers. And we have a live stim. There is no world in which bad guy was prepared for this. There's just no planet on which... Yeah, Jill is pissed. Jill just slapping the snot out of everybody. Slapping you right into last week. GG. GG. Alright, we got a SilverK game. Bringing it back. This game I tried to do some trapping. Hashtag didn't work. Instead got trapped into 7 phobie. Either way, GG's opponent. Alright, I didn't actually catch who won this game. So we'll see if this turns out to be a loss, and shout out to SilverK. If it's a win for SilverK, our hero here, then shout out to SilverK. Shout out to all of the people who submit games. If you're interested in getting your own game here, live on stream, and of course, ultimately on YouTube, hit up the Random Thoughts Discord. Link for that and live stream, of course, in the description. You know, down around thereabouts, the like and subscribe button. We actually broke 700 subs on YouTube chat recently. So trying to hit that big 1K number. It's real important. It's real important, so help me out. Help me out. I love Rush Hour. One time my opponent brought out Dozer and Chuck, and I won by heart rushing with Smother Mother. That's actually wild. That's wild. So bad guy here is taking a page out of DT's book, going with the early game Gravedigger. But our hero here, Unicorn Cassowary into Poison Ivy. It's a bold move, Cotton. Especially considering the existence of the healing spot. Now, this is a little weird, seeing the trap getting placed onto a point that was already claimed. But I can understand it because between backcapping throughout the game or just repositioning, bad guy's probably not expecting it to be there, and the difference with the Poison Ivy trap is it can be such a huge burst of damage that you can unexpectedly catch something. And if they're then forced to reposition onto the spa, there's only one spa, or you have to jump through some hoops, Poison Ivy traps represent a unique threat. Or we'll just activate the trap right now, because why not? So panic point advantage goes nobody. 1-1 right now. Excuse me, 2-1. What am I saying? There's 2 panic points that are orange. It's kind of blending in with the map, I'm not going to lie. This is the map that, if I recall correctly, I remember complaining about how orange it was. Why did that have to happen? Like, did bad guy just straight up fly this out here? Bad guy just put this here, and it's like, did they not think that the unicorn would go there? I guess they just figured that our hero would not go for it. Now, admittedly, like, a snowball could come out and maybe... Oh, it's still only, like, damage this thing. I don't know. That... Just like, alright, free murder wing. Why not? Anybody looking for some wings? You want some hot wings? We got hot wings. Panic points, 2-2 with a Fire Ant supplementing bad guy's forces here on going into turn 9 for our hero. Not a ton of traps getting laid down. Not a ton of traps going down. The bad guy takes a very aggressive line down here in the south with this Hevo. I feel like this could have been a dead Hevo. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh no, actually, you maxed out on Phobies early, SilverK. That's a big oof moment. And this may have been bad guy capitalizing and saying, hey, you're maxed out. You just literally can't present enough damage. That kind of sucks, because this is a fairly overextended Hevo. Would have been a spectacular pickup. But bad guy here with only 4 Phobies, 5 keys to their name, but 11 in favor of our hero. Bad guy able to safely retreat, but panic point advantage remains blue. Something needs to get traded out here. A Morty Ray Chargels could have killed that Hevo if Cast Range Instinct committed. Yes. Unfortunately, too many Phobies. You always have to be cognizant of your... Really? I don't know about this one. I mean, I get there's a Fire Ant, but like... I don't know. Don't know about this. Honestly, so here's the thing. The traps go off. So if you lay a trap onto a Fire Ant trap, it's going to activate the trap. And if you do that, obviously, on your turn, because you laid the trap and then it detonates at the end of turn, it may still be bad for you. But at the same time, it's kind of like, do you really need Doom Doom? Is Doom Doom absolutely necessary? I don't know. It feels extraneous. But either way, Doom Doom has made an appearance. Once again, maxed Phobies for our hero. Excuse me. Doom Doom's a little bit exposed. Kinda, sorta. A lot of traps. We got a lot of traps. Getting an invade going down on Doom Doom. Is this Doom Doom just dead? Holy... Oh, come on. Doom Doom. Doom Doom, my brother in Christ. What is you doing? Not like this. Ah! Everybody pour one out for Doom Doom. Chat, are we ever gonna see a Doom Doom success story. That's the new challenge, chat. Submit games that are doomed. That's your challenge, community. Chat, YouTube, send me a Doom success story. Because they haven't happened yet. But we do have Hevo 3.0 success stories. Those are fairly regular. We get the dead Hevo finally. 7 keys to 9 keys remaining, respectively. We're beating up bad guys' phobies, but our heroes' phobies are also going to take a beating thanks to, well, lava and retaliation. You used to use Doom regularly in small maps back when not everybody had boss and high levels. Even then, it kind of feels like, I don't know. There's a lot of ways you could change Doom to improve it and keep the theme. But at the end of the day, it kind of just feels like, I don't know, it just doesn't do enough. In order for it to be good, it feels like it would have to be overpowered. You know, like if it, instead of just revealing traps, it deactivated every trap in its radius or something like that. And then it would invalidate trappers and I don't know. We are taking advantage in the meantime of the Hevo 3.0 lob. We're doing some takedowns here in the middle, but I imagine this is not good. This is scary, chat. This is super scary. We got everything clustered. Everything's grouped up. That's a Doom on the, or boomer. What the hell am I saying? A boomer on the lava here. Not enough things seem to have died, and that is a clutch honey bear to deactivate a whole lot of fire. This is not going to end well, is it? Admittedly, there is a Hevo on the board, and there's a whole lot of clustered phobies from bad guy here. Hevo 3.0, that is. So our hero's not out of it past the halfway point. But it's Noxious, Hevo 3.0, and Murderwing, who's now going in. The good news is, with all these traps, you know there's not a Fire Ant trap here. It would have been there already. We get the double AoE going down while the healing spa is turned off, so no poison cleanse. Get a double takedown here, leaving a very damaged Jin Sting, an out-of-position Stabby, and a poisoned Miss Moffat. Contortio, the final phobia, of course, the panic point advantage is in favor of our hero. I don't think this Noxious can die. Bad guy commits in order to kill. This is surprising. The bad guy commits in order to kill the Noxious. Because the thing is, I think you can just kill the... Maybe you can't kill the spider with the fire, though. Ooh, this is bold. I like it. I like it, though. The fire is presumably going to take down the Inoculus, and then it's just going to be a matter of Miss Moth. Ooh, there's the... That's a Fire Ant trap for sure. Takes down the Noxious. But that's a fairly healthy Hevo 3.0. It's not healthy enough, though. Holy crap. What is happening in this game? All right, it's Boomer and Contortio versus Honey Bear. What? I just looked at the health bar, and that's why I think health bars would be fine, because we don't actually know the numbers. You have to click on the phobia to see what's happening. So, like, you still have a little bit of mystery to the game, but the health bars would help. Contortio rush, the heart rush question mark. I mean... So the Honey Bear presents a unique threat here because it can turn off the panic points. And realistically, like, Contortio is not killing it. So now our hero has to fare or fear, excuse me, our hero has to fear other traps. Now, we know there's not a trap here because Fire Ant went down and the trap had already gone off at this point. This is where if in-game chat existed to be going off, exactly, both players would be exploding. So our hero can tuck themselves in a corner here on the heart. There's no way there's a trap back here. There's no reality where that happens. Boomer goes in, makes it a 5-0. Ooh, we're going to get the retreat. I mean, it's a 5-0 panic point advantage. The Boomer's very healthy, too. The Honey Bear can't even kill the Boomer anytime soon. Get the Puke there to reduce it. Still a 3-0 panic point advantage. SilverK. Wow. I mean... yeah, never didn't have it. It wasn't even close. Never didn't have it. Wasn't even sweating. So we're jumping back in, back on Rush Hour. Our hero this time is in the orange trunks, Dark Soul 1. So Dark Soul, I actually pulled this up off stream. Dark Soul did answer some of the questions I had from last time. I'm trying to find the comments on YouTube. No, why is YouTube not showing it to me now? It's not showing me, but long story short, Dark Soul chimed in to answer a bunch of the questions. So shout out that I had when we were covering the last Dark Soul game. But shout out to Dark Soul 1. No notes officially from this one, so we're going to see what happens. It's all a mystery to everyone. Dark Soul 1 when Bright Soul 2 walks in the room. What? Yeah, I was joking that it was related to the game Dark Souls, but they specifically said that they hadn't played the game, so it clearly is not from there. But in the meantime, bad guy sniping the boom. We're getting a little... That's an aggressive droney. Yeah, the numbskull... No thanks. No thanks. But we are getting a plethora of early game drops, burning through all of the early game keys in order to spam low costs. Our hero is banked to 6. Our hero is banked to 6. And we get the good old Quagmire. The favorite snot monster. Jab, what is your least favorite snot monster? Didn't think you could ask that question now, did you? We're putting you on the spot right now, chat. Least favorite snot monster, go. I'm trying to think if I can even name another snot monster offhand. I feel like there was a... Like, when I was a kid, there was, like, a children's horror movie. You know what I mean? Like... Where, you know, you're like 8 to 10 years old and it's like a horror movie geared towards kids. Be like, oh, well, you can watch a horror movie too. And like one of them was a snot monster, basically. But I'm trying to remember from when I was a kid, like, what would that have been called? I can't, it's going to bother me now. I'm going to have to look it up off stream. But anyway, in the meantime, matching snot monsters, more weird sentences. Cubchew, that's your least favorite snot monster? But we do get a baby Snakey. This match has gotten wild, chat. 8 keys banked for our hero. What are we going to see? By the way, invading Snot Monster on the opposing healing spot. There's an argument that Dark Souls... I swear to God, there was a half a breath, a fraction of a heartbeat, where I thought bad guy was going to block themselves in. And I have no idea why. There's, like, literally no purpose for doing that, but the way that their opener went, the thought entered my mind, what if bad guy just blocked themselves in? It can't be beat. They can't, then our hero can't touch their jar. But instead, our hero has sunk all 8 keys into high 5. The soon-to-be hero of Mesophobe. Yeah, Gravedigger locking the door to their vault. Yep, we get a little high 5 action. I'm excited. I'm excited. All right, Urk. That dreadful. You can almost taste it. You said it's your first dreadful, right? Oh my god. Our bad guy is going for the throat here. I mean, they have a 4-to-1 panic point advantage while we've been joking around. Our hero peeling off with the Snot Monster and Baby Snaky in order to address the invading Quagmire, but manages to make it 3-2, stemming the bleeding a bit. From the panic points, anyway. But we're talking a lot of heart damage here. 35-22, and of course we're going to get a recap on the center. So High Five might have to make a pit stop in order to clear out a few of these phobies. Oh no! Smiley, no! No! Halfway through the game, and it does not look good for our hero. Bop! Got him. High Five goes in and bops the jar. While the Snot Monster and Baby Snaky are going to body the other Snot Monster, for the most part. Still alive, but not for much longer, I imagine. Okay, this is playing with fire now. Our hero's banking to 7, still down panic points, still has a Snot Monster knocking on the door. And the 8 key investment in High Five, it does not look like it's going to pay off. What? Why did that just happen? Bad guy banks to 15? Hold on. Hold on. What? Four phobies on the board. 15 keys. Like, I don't know, chat. They're saving for that 15 key phobie. Not a bad dreadful. What'd you get, Urk? So High Five is tanking the Smiley disease for now, at the very least. Thanks to the high damage output from the Baby Snaky, Quagmire can peel off. Panic point advantage goes in favor of our hero, at least temporarily. 4-1, of course, Smiley can go disease something else. Pterodactyl, Kerbloom, and the one and only 3-range Lobber. Not bad. Not bad. Seems like a pretty good dreadful there, Urk. So Barzilla, Hevo, and Unicorn are the big investment from Bad Guy. What's hilarious is this High Five seems as though it's just going to clobber everything. It's not going for the heart, it's just going to punch face. And by face, I mean phobie faces. I don't know that I necessarily agree with putting Moly Bully here. Granted, this does protect it from Smiley, because Smiley can't get around to the Moly Bully, but it's going to take a beating here. Never mind, it'll just get to it this way, because I didn't think the High Five was that dead. Our hero, by the way, I'm just throwing this out here, 12 keys remaining. 12 keys remaining for our hero. They just said, you know what? I don't even need any more. I don't even need that many. I'm going to play with a handicap. Just kidding. They're putting out Fish Tank. That whole bit was a joke. Forget I ever said it. And Fetch. So, by the way, those 12 keys, they are going to get used, in fact. And they're going to go into Fish Tank and one of everyone's favorite good boy. One of the best boys. One of the best boys is coming down. We'll see what happens. So now we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to 3 phobia advantage. Most of our heroes' phobies are fairly healthy. The disease on Quagmire, of course, is negated by the healing. But it was looking messy early on, and our hero played it pretty patiently. Our bad guy made some really bizarre strategic decisions. The only time I've seen anyone play fetch was when my Stairmaster survived 2 fetch and 2 Miss Moffat shots at 1 HP. Wow. So for anybody curious, 1100 health on the heart for our hero. We're going to get a little boop action here. Of course, also body blocking out the Evo here. Well played, Dark Soul. Well played. This felt like a game that bad guy threw. There were a few different things the bad guy did that felt like they could have changed some what feel like trivial decisions that would have had large impacts. But you take those games. You take those wins. GG, Dark Soul. GG. There's a lot of games to cover tonight. TCT's our hero this time in the blue trunks. Doom did absolutely nothing. Chat, I feel like this is now a consistent refrain. And that's also a gnat. I don't know where that came in. I guess it's starting to get warm and the bugs are starting in, which means it's gonna be cave cricket season soon, chat, and I'm gonna be unhappy. I hate those things. They're gross. They're annoying. They're belligerent. They're just awful. Just awful. But you know what's not awful? Banking to 6 as our hero is done here. Seems like it could be an okay plan after the Unicorn and Razormouth opener trying to fend off Stabby Cassowary and Razormouth here. I didn't say I hate nature. I just don't like cave crickets. Show me a person that enjoys the company of cave crickets, and I'll show you a liar. So in the meantime, bad guy is popping out of Venus, the original Poison Ivy. Speaking of nature. Speaking of nature. Stabby supplementing the forces of TCT. Still 5 keys banked to 4 compared to the 4, on the side of bad guy. A number of traps here, especially this one, is pretty threatening. But bad guy does have a key, or a slot, available to expend keys in order to try and heal up this Stabby, cure the poison. But 7 keys now. Both players trying to creep up the key ladder, it would have seemed, but holy crap. We're getting a lot of traps tonight, chat. We're getting a lot of traps tonight. Hakunay had mentioned offline their game was going to have traps. We saw Steve's putting in work. We saw a bunch of traps on that, the Rush Hour game, and now we're getting a bunch of traps, and the Doom, as mentioned, is doing nothing. Doom will be good here. Well, per the notes, Doom is hot garbage. Trash, if you will. And in fact, Doom can't clear all of these. Like, it's just not happening. It's not happening, bro. It's not happening, bro. Now, the panic points do, in fact, shift. Here's the thing, and we've talked about this before, way back when, like, one of the first games that I did a breakdown for with Doom. It was on crypto. Our hero had a ton of traps. Bad guy had Doom, and ultimately it boiled down to Doom can't clear the. It's like, okay, I know where the traps are. Great. Okay, there's 75,000 traps. What am I supposed to do? Like, there's only so many. He can't clear all these traps. But this goes back to my comment from the other game. If Doom cleared all the traps in the I Spy radius, it would completely flip this game, right? Because he would just walk up and clear all the traps. Or most of them. And that seems stupid, but from the other end, you know what I mean? Doom Doom feels as though it is one of those phobies, and there are a few in this category, in my opinion, that need reworks, not buffs. They need reworks. The ability probably needs to be different. What I expect we're going to get, and again, I'm part of the content affiliate program, but they don't talk to me about this stuff. What I would expect is that Doom Doom might get some minor buffs, you know, like we've seen damage and health and stuff like that. But what's probably going to happen is we're going to get Doom Doom 2.0, if not literally, then figuratively. And that Doom Doom is going to be the improved Doom Doom. The issue there would be, and we'll get to the game again momentarily, but the issue would be if that thing on its own would be a playable Doom Doom, then the combination of that and Doom Doom will likely invalidate traps entirely. So then it becomes, does this thing have to be alongside Doom Doom to be good? And if it does, then it's already worse because you're forced to add on Doom. Like, it gets really weird. It gets weird. I think they should just make it so Doom Doom has a trap removal ability that removes any trap you can choose in a tile range. That would be interesting. That would be interesting. Okay, so what was the record? I think kratosss was keeping track. I want to say it was 25 traps. We're probably not going to hit 25 traps. But imagine, bad guy at this point, you have Doom Doom, and you can't send it in to clear any traps. 24 traps? Okay. Bad guy electing to burn a muffin, even though you know there are poison ivy traps on the board? That's a bold move there, Cotton. This is, for the record, this is what I want to do with Trap Phobies. This is the scenario I want to set up. TCT is laying down the blueprint. I mean, we saw it also on that Opticon game the other day, but, you know, like, this is what I want to do when I say I want to set up a trap minefield. I want the whole board covered in traps and be like, no matter where my opponent steps, they're screwed. We get the Noxious laying down a little toxic spit here, being a flying spitting cobra. Venus going chomp chomp. Oh, and by the way, some more poison ivy traps. And just to rub some salt in the wound, Erratic as the final phobie. Yeah, that was a comment I made a long time ago, Mushry, is that I wonder if and it was a more, like, in the beginning of the game, in the beginning of Phobies. Ooh, Foul is the last phobie from Bad Guy. I get it. It's still a little weird, but I get it. In the beginning of the game, there were a lot of complaints, myself included, about potential issues with trap phobies and just overwhelming things like this. It's kind of died down. But I still feel that there is some risk here with, yeah, traps living forever, effectively. So we get the big repositioning from Stabby to dodge. Bad guy must know, I mean, they obviously know traps are all over the place. The Foul gets the disease onto Noxious, eliminates the Venus, but everything is still in range. I mean, I guess this is a thing that can be done. The cool thing here is you get the challenge play in order to pull the Unicorn out of the way so that Erratic can still advance and still tag the Foul and the Stabby. And sure, you're going to lose something to the Foul, but if the Foul stays, Erratic can beat on it, and you have a triple panic point advantage. And not only that, when your opponent tries to take the panic point advantage back, they have to walk into this minefield. And what a minefield it is. And if you're wondering why there was a targeting on the Clinico, well, just look at all the poison ivy traps. I feel like it's kind of self-explanatory at this point. All our hero has to do is just not die. Time is on their side. Between the traps, the erratic, and everything else, like, sure, it's a disease now, but that's still going to take a significant amount of time for this stuff to go through. This is the just to repeat it, this is the kind of trap setup I want to do because I think it's going to be hilarious. I just need to get my own trap phobies leveled up. Yep, marching forward. Got to go after the heart while you can. There's an argument to maybe send Poison Ivy up here and then threaten more damage on the heart, but I don't think it really matters. Down goes Erratic, but, yeah, that Thal has a very delicate dance to perform. Now, the funny thing is, there's no trap here, which is likely where it will end up. Maybe not likely. Just taking a wild shot there, hoping that there wasn't a trap. Bad news for you, bad guy. There's traps everywhere. GG. GG. Well done, TCT. But what gives me energy is jumping into viewer games. In this case, a Kratos game. A game you love to see, honestly, didn't know what to say, mixed with don't like to spoil. Thank you, RT. Well, thank you, Kratos. And again, thank you to all the people who submit games. If you want to do that, you want to get your name up in lights a little bit, hit up the links in the description. Game crash, new phobia confirmed. Yep. Like I said, this seems to have reappeared recently, like the beginning of this year. For a while, it didn't seem to happen, or at least I missed it. Val's walking animations makes him look like he's treading lightly to avoid setting the traps off. You're not wrong. It does actually, now that I'm thinking about it, you're right. Just tiptoeing gently. So we get, like, what are you doing here, Kratos? Like, so our hero's going second, skips turn one. That usually doesn't work out very well. It's also weird that Kratos elected to not break the block here with the Gravedigger. Ugh. Didn't break the block, and instead breaks the block this turn, which I kind of get. Cap the panic point, make sure that the Inoculus is far enough up, that sort of thing, but it's still a little weird. It gave bad guy an opportunity to advance, but this board state doesn't seem too dissimilar to what would have happened if Kratos had actually played things on turn one, other than the fact that they would have had the cooldown from Gravedigger back faster. So it would have come back faster because you could have popped the block on one and then immediately started going, but I wanted to bait, break, kill something on the middle panic point. Fair. I guess it doesn't seem like there's that significant of a tempo loss given how things are going. But I don't know if it really matters. I also don't know that you'll ever catch something on the middle unless somebody's being really lazy. You know what I mean? Like, the Inoculus is there. The Gravedigger's there. Sure, you could catch some. Excuse me. You could catch someone. But odds are it's just not happening. And of course, we're getting the now Kratos classic in Baba Haha. I got a long week ahead of me, chat. I got a lot of video editing to do. Now, Bachelor showed up. I'm not going to cap until I trap with Baba Haha, so Bachelor dies on our recap. That's a good thing to check. 590, 580, well, 589 is the damage, 620 damage on the trap, so that is notable. So it's compared to, and again, this is ladder, so you always have to verify these things, in that if everything were level 1, like Fright Night or Tiny Terrors, I mean, Baba Yaga wouldn't be illegal on Tiny Terrors, but you get the idea. The point is that the relationships between the Phobies change. On the ladder, it's entirely possible that you just out-level something, and therefore, you're going to one-shot something when you quote-unquote shouldn't have. Traps are often a That's a weird Gravedigger block. I guess it's fine. Like, I get it locks off the Innocuous, but it still doesn't feel good. Yes, everybody sent it over, Onda. I mean, it's still going to take some time to get that sorted out. I don't know. Like, I have no control over the schedule. Ooh, here it comes. We get a little Russell action, baby. It's Russell. For anybody not familiar with Russell, I haven't actually played Russell in a while. But Russell does let some funny things happen. We get the Caw, and bad guy is maxed out on Phobies. 2 undead, a stabby. The hard thing is going to be for Russell! There it is. The hard thing here is going to be for our hero to not kill something. Aside from the temptation, just, you know, you might be forced into it. The reason you don't want to kill something, of course, is to let the poison tick as long as you can, namely on Stabby. That will allow you to actually take it down or get it into range for a takedown without them just being able to, oops, I healed it. But the retreat here does give you some options. Bad guy electing to not go in. And that Bachelor is not enough of a threat to care about. Get an interesting block here, similar to this one earlier from Bad Guy, but in both cases, it seals off some things that you don't want to happen, or don't want to allow happen. Has anybody ever seen any wild Edgar Allens? We've had 1, maybe 2 submitted for replays, I think. Gravedigger pays for its sins, but does garner a trap activation. That leaves this Stabby in critical condition, and appropriately, Kratos does not allow Bad Guy the opportunity to heal it, but Kratos is, of course, down to 1 key. Gonna have to basically win the game with what's on the board, especially now that you pumped out a boom. So what is Bad Guy's follow-up? I've had Edgar Allan played against me a couple times in regular arena games. How did it work out, DT? Did you take it down anyway? The game, I mean, not necessarily Edgar Allan. Dead Baba Haha? Question mark? It looks like it. But the retaliation trap. Unfortunately, Baba Haha dies to fire, so no dimensional damage there. Takedown on to... Oh, baby, look at this AoE! Look at this AoE! Oh, by the way, Russell's AoE too. Get him. Get him. We gotta look at this turn again, chat. This is actually a fantastic turn. After the Caw was laying into Bad Guy, they replenished with a whole bunch of stuff, walked into some Baba Yaga traps, only to get boomed. Get boomed. After having things cleared out by Innocuous, and then, oh, by the way, Russell doesn't just Caw. Suddenly the forces evaporate. Fantastic. Two times I remember off the top of my head, I won / Edgar player lost. Fair. Got any advice on how to use Chuck the most effectively? It's a siege engine, is how you have to look at it, in my opinion. Like, that probably seems obvious. Oh, this is a cool finish. You have that AoE for the double kill. You love it. Well done, Kratos. Well done. Okay, so I started out by casting the wrong game because our hero here, Master Dark, actually had 2 games against the same opponent on the same day, but the notes here for the Rush Hour game, or what I'm assuming, hopefully, are the correct game, is Smother Mother versus Graylien, Puller versus Teleporter. We're going to start over again. Oh boy, that was a weird one. I mean, this happens every once in a while where I end up selecting the wrong game and we have to start over, but this is the first time I think where we had such a confluence of unique circumstances to have this twin set of games appear, materialize in front of us. Our hero here took a unique opener on Rush Hour. I don't know if Master Dark has access to Snowball, but whether they do or don't, they gave the center tile up to their opponent because their opponent has Snowball. Clopster, my beloved. Yep, we get an early Clopster here, chomping away. And similar to the not real game that we were casting mere moments ago, there is an early Cyclops out of bad guy. The early Clinico is somewhat of a head scratcher here. I don't get this. Like, why did this happen? I doubt it. Like, okay, there's a Henrietta on the board, but, like, who cares? I don't know, Chad. I'm questioning that one. Bad guy loves Cyclops and Spider. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. It would appear to be the case. So we get a Hevo as the follow-up here. Get a Hevo as the follow-up. We're finally recapping the mid with Cowbell. Puts a 3-1 panic point advantage temporarily in favor of our hero. Daisy supplementing things. Realistically, the Cowbell's not long for this world. And of course, Henrietta's going to swing in. 7 keys for bad guy, but our hero, banking to magic number 9, I imagine the foretold, the prophesied Smother Mother is going to make an appearance. So naturally, the spider isn't long for this world, but I doubt that our hero is going to bother putting anything on the center point. There we go. We get that Smother Mother burrowing on up there. Smother Mother is not a phobie that we commonly see, and in this case, this is a level 7 Smother Mother, and it's still rocking almost 950 damage a hit. The Yoink alone is over 500 damage. A lot of damage, chat. Speaking of yoinks, we get an old switcheroo. The Urk Classic. That's just a dead Cyclops, like right off the bat. Can even just... You could have just let it die. You didn't have to do that. Oh, that was unnecessary. It doesn't matter for getting displaced here because you can walk away. But that was like 400 or 500 damage that you didn't have to take on this Jin Sting. You didn't have to do that. It only had like 52 health left. Your Smother Mother deals almost 1100 base damage. Yup. It adds up. It adds up. Smother Mother does a weird sound when she pulls. A little bit. So bad guy could not... Okay. I think the assumption here should be that the Smother Mother is going to try and get to the spa. Maybe not. But I feel like Graylien could have been positioned a little more aggressively. It's possible that our hero could kill the Graylien if it was, say, here. But I don't think so. Maybe. The Smother Mother comes here. This hits twice. This slides over. Maybe you can just kill it. That's 9, 19, 23. Yeah, you could just kill it. So they couldn't have pushed it more aggressively. Never mind. Hey, Gabe, what's good? Yeah, the Graylien wanted to be more aggressive here, I think, because you want it, say, here. But like I said, it would end up dying, and then probably something trivial gets pulled out of position, rather than the Smother Mother. But you wanted it to try and threaten the Smother Mother. At this point, it's... They got that Cyclops, quote-unquote, for free. Like, this doesn't seem good. And definitely not erratic follow-up. I think you need something that, if you're going to dive like this, which doesn't even look like it was a valuable decision to make. Like, look at this. Look at this turn. Wow. Look at this turn. That guy aggressively was trying to push to threaten the Smother Mother, but yeah, you came to the wrong neighborhood. This was a mistake. The challenge play allows the pull onto Hevo, and then just the absolute obliteration of bad guys' forces here. Just absolutely annihilated. That's a feels bad moment if I ever saw one. Wow. I want to, Honda. I would like to, but it's going to be contingent on the devs. I have to try and get a few things squared away. For people that are curious, the question was, will we make Tiny Terrors into an event with prizes? And I would like to run more tournaments with prizes, but the prizes, of course, come from the devs. If you're interested in learning, you're watching this on YouTube, hit up the Random Thoughts Discord for information on Tiny Terrors, which is our format that only allows phobies that are commons and uncommons. Or for Fright Night, our regular tournament series. They were trying to threaten Smother Mother, but in before Mother rushes, Smother Mother threatens you. I mean, I think they took the kill on the Daisy and then thought, oh, well, I can go in and then I'll kill the Daisy and then they can't do too much to me. And it's like, yeah, can they? Can they, though? Because it sure seems like they can ruin your day. Now, to be honest, it doesn't look like bad guys that far out of it. They're down panic points. They have a trapper. I don't know what this Boo Fairy was supposed to do here. I assume it's dead here. I have to imagine this Boo Fairy's dead. I have to... Yeah, it's absolutely dead. But the Graylien should die, too. The Yoink is up on the Smother Mother. But it can't get there, because it can only go here. But our hero is going to be able to clear a whole bunch of stuff out. Or should be able to, anyway. One key remaining, maybe an A-wall helps. Contortio, that'll work too. Contortio takes down the Graylien, and, yeah. Bad guy's out of keys, and soon to be out of options. Soon to be out of options. That one turn realistically ended the game. Like, that was a back-breaking turn. That turn was just brutal. I mean, we're going to get some things happening here, but honestly, bad guy just does not have the damage to kill the Smother Mother at this point. 2,200 health, and it just pours on a ton, and it still has a Yoink. It's going to kill this Jin Sting. They just don't have the tools remaining to fight this. Yeah, the noise on the Yoink is a little weird. It's like a cross between, like, a groan and a fart. The Smother Mother is just like... It's like a weird burp fart is the noise I envision. That'll probably be the opening clip. I know it's supposed to be like a deep grown kind of thing. Like, it's this massive underground monster, so when it growls or something, it, like, has this really deep sound that comes out. But it absolutely sounds like a burp fart. Rip erratic. I mean, rip bad guy. Yeah, we're busy talking about burp farts. We don't have time to talk about what bad guys' mistakes are. Yeah, we're just watching the end here. Daisy goes down to the lava. Venus will clean some stuff up, but obviously, yeah. GG. GG. Even though Smother Mother looks huge, she's the worst 9 key, which is kind of sad. Is she? I don't have Smother Mother, but I see her and Chuck in similar numbers, I think. I mean, let's be real. Hevo 3.0 is far and away the best 9 key, right? It's just no contest. Chuck is worse than most people think. Oh yeah, Akira. Well, Akira is like... Akira's kind of in its own category because it's arguably unattainable for so many people. That's why I kind of forget about it, because it's just like, oh yeah, well, even I'm like 6 months away from Akira right now. But yeah, Akira's probably, if you include Akira, Akira's probably the best one, followed by Hevo, then Chuck and Smother Mother. But even then, if you say Smother Mother or Chuck, whichever, is the worst, it's still really good. Oh, I'm not saying Chuck is bad. I'm just saying that it is overrated because people will see Chuck and shit their pants, like, on the spot. They die of dysentery immediately, and it's like, that's not the appropriate reaction. Realistically, pooping yourself to death is not an appropriate reaction to really any scenario, let alone Chuck. But I think Chuck is good. I think Smother Mother is pretty good. You could debate about which one's better, but I think that people overreact is really the crux of my statement. What's a good pairing with Chuck? Strong frontline. The thing is you don't want your opponent to be able to dive Chuck. You want to just be able to sit there and pick them apart. Like, get a shot here, get a shot there, and then march across the board with this catapult, this trebuchet that they just can't touch, and if they do, they're dead. That's what you want. You want to be able to set up the flying V with Chuck protected and then just annihilate everything. Just like, you know, death cannon everything at every opportunity. But anyway, to take a moment as I update the spreadsheet here to talk about Onda's comment, if people are interested in playing Tiny Terrors, the current event should be finishing up soon. Just hit up the Random Thoughts Discord, !Discord in chat. If you're watching this on YouTube, of course, the links are in the description, like I always say. Just make sure you opt into the Tiny Terror roll. Fright Night, too, if you want Fright Night, but Tiny Terror roll so that way you can get the pings about the events. We're going to be running them without prizes for a little bit to try and feel out the format, see if there's adjustments that we need to make. You know, is Innocuous, for example, oppressive? Are there certain maps that are just awful? Do we need a map ban system? Or are we just doing this for funsies? As far as tournaments with prizes go, I would like to do that. I am willing to I'm waiting for feedback. That's what the ! Fright Night, if anybody wants to hit that up in chat right now. There is a feedback form or Fright Night that will let me get more information about what people are thinking for tournament formats. One of the potential changes is that we do them more frequently, as instead of, say, once a month, we do them every week. which truthfully I would like to do anyway. But let's say we do them once a week, and the prizes are just way lower. As you'd imagine, it would be difficult to convince the devs that, hey, remember that tournament that you're giving out 8,000 coffee for? Let's do that 3 more times a month. Just because. Just because you love us so much. Like, okay, well, let's be real. They can only reasonably give us so much. Unless we can justify it, sort of thing. Like, if the Fright Night tournaments were bringing in hundreds of new people, thousands of new people, and paying customers, then maybe. But right now, it's not a thing. It did Onda to a degree. I mean, we talked about it yesterday, but I won't go into it again tonight. We can on another night, maybe tomorrow during Variety. But anyway, the point is, for Tiny Terrors to be a thing, I would like to run Tiny Terrors and potential Fright Night events as async also, so that way that there's different things to service different parts of the player population, because right now there are challenges with running single-day events. I think they are better, but by virtue of, well, the way the globe is, whatever time I choose excludes some other part of the world because of just logistics. So I'm open to other options, basically, is the point. So hit up !Fright Night if you want the link to give me your feedback and your thoughts on what we should or should not be doing. Spectator, player, or otherwise, of course. Oh, we got a long one here from Urk, actually going up against our last hero, MasterDarksh, here on Crypto. Tiny Terrors game was losing the whole game, but somehow managed to pull it off. GG to MasterDarksh. Very close game. So speaking of Tiny Terrors, as mentioned, we only are allowed to use common and uncommon Phobies. If you missed the discussion earlier, Tiny Terrors is a tournament format that we're running in the Random's Thoughts Discord. Right now, well, I gave you all the rules. Commons and uncommon Phobies only allowed. We're trying to see how it plays out, to see how this quote-unquote pauper format, as you may have heard from physical and digital card games such as Magic the Gathering, the WoW TCG, and a variety of others, trying to see how it works out for Phobies. And so far, people seem to be enjoying it. So if you're interested in this format, hit up the links in the description. Of course, likes and subscribes do help. For some reason, that particular diatribe, that particular monologue, strained my throat more than just about anything I've been ranting and raving about tonight. I don't know why, chat. Not 100% recovered from that cold. That was, unfortunately, keeping me down a little bit, but we're getting there. So, in the meantime, we're getting a Panic Point Advantage blue player for our hero here, Urkevina. Crushmore coming out. We did get the early Gravedigger, but no Terraform, notably, on this map for MasterDarksh. Now, Urk has been a proponent of Honeybear on a variety of maps. We'll have to see if it shows up here, but I have to imagine with the Terraforms that it's going to. Now, notably, this was an aggressive trap coming down here in the Venus, eliminating a unicorn trap here. We do get an Innocuous. This is one of the Phobies that I want to keep an eye on because Innocuous is so powerful in regular games that I wonder if it's going to be too powerful in Tiny Terrors. We'll have to see. We'll have to see. Tiny Terrors nerfs Ted because of no Jill? Yes, it does. Unfortunately, the Newly Deads do not get to keep their love alive in this format. I wanted to spawn Honeybear, but I had to answer his shenanigans, so I never got a good chance to. Fair. We do, in fact, get the Demolition going down, not only on this side of Urk, but also getting a block here to lock off this particular Panic Point. Not quite enough damage to eliminate the creep here until Crushmore rolls in, but that's, of course, going to garner some damage onto the Crushmore due to lava. Muffin comes in order to cure the poison. Fair. Fair. Maxed out, or previously maxed out Phobies for MasterDarksh here in the orange trunks, but only 4 Phobies now. So there is a slot to utilize those 6 keys that were caused by previous bank. Stabby's the follow-up, 5 keys remaining for Urk. We'll have to see what comes out from here. But a quick dive is going to yield a takedown on this unicorn with the protective services of Venus, fairly tanky, as we pointed out on many occasions in the past, preventing a takedown on this Innocuous. This is a very solid push, realistically. No one wants to use pairing Phobies anyway. Yeah, we did see a game earlier where that happened, but realistically, not many people do. It's not very common. I mean, we've seen some Speedola, we occasionally see Jill and Ted, but it's rare for the most part. So the aggressive push is somewhat punished. We get the Murder Wing coming out to take down the Unicorn, and then Wiggy. Wiggy's showing up. Now, one of the other points of note is everything in Tiny Terrors is level 1, in case you're wondering about the numbers here. So Wiggy at level 1, still pushing 600 damage, will tank a single hit from either the Gesundheit or the Innocuous. A follow-up hit from something else probably means it's dead. What's interesting is reminding yourself that you can't use Jar Snowball every turn. Yes. Wiggy one-shots Gesundheit on level. 600. 600. Accurate. Accurate. Yeah, so the thing about Tiny Terrors and all these other unique formats is I think it would be beneficial if the devs would allow other filters on the vault. There are a lot there, so the real estate and the layout from a UI perspective could get weird. Or allowing us to set up our own custom filters so it isn't just cost, although cost is very valuable. Maybe the cost is now like, it's a number, you click on it, then it pops out all of the number options. You click on the number, and then it moves as it does now, but then they fill out the rest of it with options. Ooh, so we get a dive here. You get a push in order to eliminate the Innocuous. I do like that. The Murder Wing is able to tank the hit here. And there's going to be a little bit of splash from the Klepto. Ooh, that's actually enough. I was wondering why they did this, but that makes a lot of sense since the splash was able to kill the Murder Wing. That allows a takedown on the Crushmore as well. So at this stage, we're looking at Crushmore, Murder Wing, Unicorn, and 2 1-drops versus Innocuous, Creep, and Unicorn. So 4, 6, 8 versus 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So far, in favor of Bad Guy. The follow-up, Baby Snakey. 0 keys remaining for Bad Guy, 3 remaining for our hero here. We do, in fact, get that one shot going down. And Bo Mangles. Bo Mangles for the follow-up here with Stabby. So here's the thing. There are 2 turrets, which will allow for a strong control of the center, right? But at the same time, okay, Bad Guy's electing to not go for it. Bad Guy has to they have to commit at some point, and which phobia is going to bite the dust, because whatever goes in there is now dead. Like, it's just going to die. Stabby is beat up, but Bad Guy's forces are fairly healthy. I imagine the Venus takes this point. We'll have to see. Does that mean Wiggy can always one-shot Gesundheit as long as both are on the same level? Yes. Unless there's some weird rounding error, it will. So some phobies, when they level up, it will round the numbers because it's a percentage gain. So, you know, whatever 3% of a specific number, if it ends up being, you know, a decimal, it will round it. Maybe that means that, like, at some level, Gesundheit has 1 extra HP or something like that. But as far as we know, on all levels, it should one-shot it. Which is relevant. All of those breakpoints, similar to Murder Wing or Snowball into Jar, all of those breakpoints are very relevant to keep in mind. Even on ladder when things can get weird. Because then you don't have to worry about doing the math of, will this... I mean, I guess there's not a whole lot of math, but, like, just compare the levels and go, yep, this gets there, or no, it doesn't. So we still have a fair amount of game left in this, because both players have to be very cautious about this. It is giving our trap player an advantage to a degree. Especially since you can't threaten killing all three of these. They all have a lot of HP. They all have a lot of HP, so it's going to be interesting to see who Urk elects to try and target in this scenario. Probably not surprising to anybody, Klepto is the target, right? Ooh, that's a good block. I'm a little surprised that Master Dark elected to put the baby Snaky here instead of trying to put the Venus. But the Venus probably went here in order to, well, both threaten, but also to get this trap here to soften things up. This means that Urk is going to have to try and commit in, but realistically, look at the heart health. Urk has a few turns to heal up, to allow things to try and progress. You just have to be cognizant of the fact that, hey, there are traps that are going to be going down the whole time. It basically comes down to the fact that as long as you don't wait too long and allow Master Dark to fill the entire board with traps, you should be able to get forward and push forward and take the game back. I'm probably just going to play Akira in every crypto game if my opponent decides to just bank keys and do nothing. I feel like that should be your game plan in literally every game. Every game that your opponent allows you to get to Akira, you should put Akira on the board. Granted, you can't do that in Tiny Terrors, but, you know. Why would you not play Akira if you had the opportunity? Oh my god, Urk. Urk, locking the game down with the blocks here. The block initially to lock out the Venus from closing the distance in case bad guy wanted to, but an additional block here to prevent the Venus from also closing the distance and locking out both melee phobies. Panic point advantage hero. Since bad guy is being aggressive, I imagine we'll see something walk up here onto the stem. Or not. I was going to say, like, you could probably just inch up and go punch the heart and end the game, and I don't think they can get to you fast enough. There is a risk, I guess, that there are defensive traps here. And given the surface area that is required, there's almost no way that bad guy can actually kill any of your stuff at this stage. And just like that, GG. Tiny Terrors for you, folks. You did see a lot of somewhat standard phobies, but we have been seeing things like Gesundheit, which doesn't show up as regularly, Wiggy, which is new, a variety of different things showing up in Tiny Terrors that makes it a different gameplay experience because you can't always default to the standard plays. But GG. All right, here we go. Mushry zoning in on Opticon, our hero in the orange trunks. I don't know, just a good game I had. Well, solid games definitely deserve their time in the limelight as well. This one, not as long as some of the other games that we saw earlier tonight. But Opticon at this stage, I'm pretty sure is out of rotation, question mark. I'm really curious to try Chuck on Mesophobe. Like, how in the hell is my opponent going to stop me from gunning down their heart? They're probably going to kill you before then, is the answer. That's the only thing I would say. I mean, Chuck is actually pretty good on this map, speaking of Opticon, but Mesophobe, I know Karsticles and Hakunay were testing counters to the Squiggles opener, but Squiggles High Five seems to be the go-to right now. Now, granted, by the time this video goes up on YouTube, maybe it'll be different answers, so let me know down in the comments if you have your own answers on Mesophobe. But Mesophobe seems like Moai on meth is what it feels like. It's like if Moai featured in Breaking Bad, you get Mesophobe. You don't have either? High Five's too slow for the record? Okay, so High Five is out. It's just Squiggles. Even going high 5 turn 2. So there's not a whole lot to comment on the early game. We're just trading out 1 keys other than bad guy is able to snipe a few things here. You know, like these 1 keys didn't necessarily have to die. We've now seen a few different heroes start off with these early booms. And I'm telling you, I don't like boom in general. I know Anda's going to get very upset at me, but like, I'm not a huge fan of boom. But I'm exceptionally not a fan of boom early in the game. It just feels like, oops, it's dead constantly. I don't know. But either way, we get a 5-1 panic point advantage in favor of our hero with an aggressive cowbell that's going in, which I also kind of don't agree with. Until bad guy detonates their boom to kill it, and it's like, did that really need to happen? I don't know, you boom users out there are going to have to let me know. Do you commonly trade boom for other 1-drops? That feels like a waste. That feels like a waste. But the answer is Red Speedola. Now, between the Red Speedola and the takedowns and some advancements, it's a 42 panic point advantage for bad guy. This also doesn't seem good. So, like, you kill the canine, but you're going to lose your cassowary. I feel as though our hero is trading in a very negative fashion. Sparky is the follow-up from our hero if you missed it in the north. Like, what are we looking at here? 2, 3, 4, 5, 3? It's not a huge disparity, but it feels like our hero's losing a lot of tempo. Maybe that's not true. Maybe it's irrelevant. I'm overstating the impact of some of these losses. The Phobie losses, I mean. Now, that being said, the Sparky is also kind of weird. I get it. There's 2 tanky mechs on the board. This is actually a map that I don't mind erratic on, just because the way clustering works and the chain allows you to kind of get a pseudo lob. Because ultimately, both players have to cluster things to a degree. And it allows you to kind of bend around corners. Now, that being said, lobs and 3 rangers are still generally going to be better, but it does give you another alternative. Creep pays for its sins in typical creep fashion. It goes after Stabby and then just, you know, dies because creep is not really a great answer to Stabby. As we found way, way back, creep is a better answer to Murderwing overall. Ooh, so bad guy's still leaning into the mechs, but in this case, the mech in question is a tractor. So our hero's life suddenly got way more complex, but they have 7 keys available to them. So our hero maxes out on Phobies by deploying Snowball. Snowball, Sparky, and, of course, a stimmed Unbearable will spell death for the sheep if it goes in. And I guess sheep for Unbearable is going to be even, so it's fine. But in the meantime, we got some stuff going down on the south that leads to a takedown on Stabby, but with Gesundheit in range. The big question here is, can our hero retaliate? 9 keys remaining for them. I mean, double hit from Gesundheit and Sparky is a lot of damage. That opens up the jar to get Fireballed. Of course, we're going to get a little bees action. And we even get the Clinico Assassin. This just did not seem like a good pull. Did not seem like a good pull for bad guy. So with the early advantage the bad guy had, we ended up with 5, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. All of a sudden, the key advantage has swung back in favor of our hero. I'm going to go out on a limb and say Temptress as your penultimate Phobie, not the position you want to be in. And ultimately, that sheep has done nothing. Somebody's got to keep track of this. How often a sheep comes down and just does absolutely dick. Like, look at this. Even the Clinico lived. No bueno. I need more water, chat. Out of water. We do get a pull. It's going to expose the Snowball, which means that the takedown on the Snowball is going to be a dead red Speedola, most likely. You know what? It's probably just a dead Attractor. It's probably just a dead Attractor. Like, I feel like Bad Guy was at an advantage, although the combination of Phobie choice, namely, like, why did red Speedola come down? We never saw a blue Speedola. And then a couple of other factors meant that they're just dead. There is the potential for a multi-hit here with the sheep, but at this point, it's just too late. It's just too late. The heal goes down on red Speedola. I don't know. I think Phobie choice was the bigger issue than a particular play from Bad Guy here. But the Speedola, the sheep, the Temptress, like, that's 14 keys there that are just not very good Phobies. Don't get me wrong, it's not as though, oh, well, you lose the game on the spot if you spawn these Phobies, but you're making your life more difficult. You're absolutely making your life more difficult. I was sweating it a little bit early in the game for our hero, but realistically, did they ever really have, like, was there anything in doubt at any point? GG is right. GG. Just watching the demise of Bad Guy at this stage. The irony is our hero can't quite kill them this turn. Which is a little unfortunate. But not a whole lot they can do in retaliation. GG, Mushry. GG. Yeah, this was just, as the notes indicate, this was just a solid game. Not necessarily any particular play, but I think it was really Phobie choices. Both Phobie selection as well as the actual Phobie plays, like once they're on the board, are important. You can't forget that it's not just, I got to use my Phobies properly. You have to use the correct Phobies, or you will end up costing yourselves games. So we're walking the clock back a little bit, looking at yet another Opticon game, this time from Redwick. The Undead Whale finally makes an appearance, and from me, surprisingly, do we have another Will Waffalo game? Another Will Waffalo game? We did have one last week. So it won't make the cover art this time, but I was actually thinking about putting Wiggy on the cover with the Tiny Terrors game. Although, realistically, like, that isn't the board state. Other than Wiggy himself isn't, like, that exciting. Whereas Will Waffalo, I'm telling you right now, chat, as we're looking at a fairly standard opener here into a Klepto, I'm going to attribute it to Will, but right now, that is one of the best performing viewer game breakdowns ever, was last week's, which is interesting to me. There it is. We get the undead whale in Wuffalo Will. It's Will Wuffalo. I'm never letting this go. There's a Will avatar? I didn't realize there was a Will avatar. But at 20 doll hairs, I mean, I'm not surprised. Because, you know, Bluelian and Graylian were. I'm not paying $20 for it. So what's the warm-up on Will again? So Will is ready to go immediately, but realistically, it's not going to connect with the sheep unless the sheep connects first. I mean, I guess maybe there could be body blocks or something, but... Ooh, we get a little Stairmaster action. Will is so amazingly creepy in such a hilarious way. Why did this Bachelor attack twice? I guess it attacked twice, and that's why. Because otherwise, like, why would it have stayed there? I don't think alligator is the answer here. That just... Like, that's weird, right? Is alligator really the answer to this scenario? So this is very interesting because you do put bad guy in somewhat of a catch-22 to a degree, because the problem is you're still pretty close here to their vault. So, like, if they move in and punch or lob and then supplement, maybe they can just burn Will down, even though they give you control of their phobie for a bit. Ooh, a little double primate number 9 action from both players. Panic point advantage is in favor of bad guy, but only briefly. And now suddenly it's a 4-2 panic point advantage going the other way, and Will is all up on your team. Will is threatening. Now, it's not to say that bad guy can't advance in a somewhat safe way in order to threaten Will. Will is a whale. He's a little tanky. He's a little tanky. Despite being only level 3, still 2,300 health. That's not an insignificant amount of health to chew through. Especially when he's going to steal one of your phobies. This will help, though. Leaping off the stem to steal. That will, in fact, help. So, do we see the Will Wuffalo parasite come out and claim the primate? I think the better play here is eliminate the primate, claim the gator. Which it looks like that's exactly what's going to happen. Pop. What's yours is mine. And what's mine is mine. Everything is mine. All the things are mine. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 phobies. Admittedly, the cassowary will die. The sheep will probably go in and get a spectacular hit here. But you do get temporary use of this gator for what that's worth. Really? $316. Yeah, I don't know about that. So here's the thing. Let's say bad guy went in with the sheep. What I was double checking is that they could kill the cassowary. So bad guy could have killed the cassowary and sent the sheep in to this spot. But does that even get you anything? It's like you poison this, this, and this, but your opponent, our hero, still has 7 keys. They have slots open. So they can just pop out Muffin. They can pop out Clinico. Like, kill your stuff and then walk away safely. It does not, like, I don't hate the move here from bad guy. Like, walking the sheep in might have just been a bait. You would get the poison onto Wuffalo Will, in which case maybe that's worth it on its own. Just to try and take it down, because Will is cooling down at this point. Will is cooling down at this point, so they will likely get another activation if you don't do something soon. That something in this case is Barzilla. Now, I'm not going to lie, our heroes playing of Fish Tank into Erratic takes some balls, but, you know. Imagine Will plus Akira and paddles on a big map. I bet Ando will make that happen. No, you know what's going to happen? Anda's going to play Akira and Will, and then Akira, the opponent's Kaboom into position, Will, and then detonate the Kaboom, their Kaboom on their guys. That's what's going to happen. Chomp. Hero aggressively pushing. Anda, if anybody's going to make that scenario happen, it's going to be you. Down goes Will. But notably, for anybody curious out there, the death of Will does not immediately relinquish the stolen Phobie. It does not immediately relinquish the stolen Phobie. Gator betraying its former team. This is a good heads-up play by Redwick, getting the extra hit onto the Barzilla. Because it would have been easy to just go, oh yeah, tag the sheep twice with the Stairmaster, but making sure that you're spreading the damage appropriately. Getting the sheep connection, oddly enough, we are going to see a winning sheep, chat. You were the chosen one! You were supposed to destroy them, not join them! Chat, we need Obi-Wan memes with Wuffalo Will. We need Obi-Wan memes with Will Wuffalo. I'm telling you right now, it'll be hilarious. Fish Tank laying the beat down. Little fart gas going on. And then there was the brainwash Gator. And that was all there was. Bad guy will get their consolation Jin Sting here. The funny thing is, it's going to still take 2 more turns because of how tanky the Gator is. Well played there, Redwick. Well played. Get a little Will Wuffalo action. I'm excited to see more plays from this guy. Is stealing a Gator the most exciting thing? No, because you're just taking a big dummy, but it really hurt bad guy here. And definitely, even before the Gator steal, it just completely consumed all of their focus to try and avoid or minimize the impact of a mind control. Will Wuffalo seems like it's going to be real dangerous. Real dangerous. GG. All right, we're going to be jumping into some repeats, as in repeats players. This is a weird way to describe it. We're going to get some people that already submitted games after this. But anyway, before we do that, we have a hold still game from Renamon. No, you're not allowed to pull my Phobies into the abyss, but I will pull yours. This was a commonly selected map in the most recent Fright Night 5, which, by the way, if you're watching this on YouTube, hit up that playlist if you want to see some really high-level games. There was a lot of excitement. If you want to play in Fright Night, get your chance at some competitive Phobies, hit up the links in the description. Will still seems broken. Will seems pretty good. Oh my god, it happened, chat. So, we saw early Gravediggers from both players. Here's the thing. typically we see what bad guy did. You break this. I don't know that Renamon's block here even matters. Most of the time on this map, people do not traverse through this. Like, there might as well be blocks here already. Almost nobody goes through here. It comes up every once in a while, but not very commonly. So right now, it feels like, while this is cute, it seems way more advantageous for bad guy to do what they did. Now, this I do like. I don't mind this yoink. It seems silly on its surface because it's like, well, why would you yoink the cowbell? But you eliminate it, and you're going to have time to get it back, and there's basically no threat for a counter yoink onto your spider, even if there wasn't a body block here. But removing the 1 key is relevant because that means that they can't just recap that spot. Instead, they're going to go for the top here, which is going to be a little annoying, but you can more safely reclaim this later on. So we do get a big splash going down here onto the spider, onto the gravedigger. The gravedigger is a relevant tool, and while this poison baseline does not kill a gravedigger, here it looks like it might. What levels are these? 5 versus it? Really? I could have sworn Noxious would not have done this. But it is enough. It is enough. It will depend on whether it can leech some life, but for now... Oh no! Is this a dead Noxious? I was so focused that I... Oh no, dead Noxious. That hurts. That actually hurts, because that's like... It's 6 keys for nothing, for 1 right now, chat. You like 2.0 Firkin's Slammerhead? Really? Slammerhead? That's interesting. I mean, having multiple boops is probably worth it. If you're going to have a boop, it feels like you need multiples in order to try and get them to all connect in a way that's advantageous. Or you need your opponent to put a couple toes out of line, and then you can boop them into position and annihilate them. But yeah, Slammerhead is absolutely tanky. It's just interesting because we don't typically see Slammerhead to be at all, to be honest. But something we do commonly see is Graylien, specifically from Urk, but we're seeing it here from our hero Renamon. You get a triple pull situation here. Spider, a Tractor, and a Graylien. Granted, one of them is a switch, but, you know, it's a pull. It's an honorary pull. Batting point advantage has been in favor of bad guy for some time now, thanks to that castle recap in the beginning. And it's now getting worse. So our hero has 11 keys remaining. Bad guy has 18, though. Still a lot of keys for both players, so there's a lot of things that can go on here. This seems suspect. Bad guy, are you serious right now? This can't be what you want to do. They just don't see the play. Alright, that's a dead spider. So here's the thing, even if bad guy is able to retaliate, so this is 1,000... They can't kill this, because this won't do damage, this can't reach, and these two are not enough damage to kill the spider. But even if they were, our hero's still at the advantage because they still have Graylien and a Tractor. So losing that asset is a big deal. This kind of matters because otherwise the snowball could have possibly swung through the bottom, but ultimately cannot. Oh no, good play, good play. Bad guy gets the opportunity to get the spider. Like I said, it ultimately, I don't think matters. I still would take that, I think, as our blue player. Cassowary also pays for its sins being involved in that brutal slaughter of Miss Moffat. And Octonaughty fills out the forces for bad guy, as does for Renamon. Why not pull Hevo into the Abyss? I think the Spider is the higher priority target. They're both 5 keys, and Spider is a way more dangerous ability. Like, getting a yoink advantage on this sort of map, or even in general, is kind of a big deal. I think I would value the Spider over Hevo. You could make the argument, like, I'd have to go back and double check the damage, but you can make the argument that if you pull the Hevo, they can't kill your Spider. But then this happens. That guy just walks into it, I guess. Oh my... Wait, come on! What did... Like... So they kill the Spider... They kill the Spider, they walk away. Sorry, I was looking at chat and, like, trying to talk about stuff and, like... Come on! How could you not see this coming? Why? I mean, bad guy, how can you not see this coming? You just got attracted a couple turns ago, and then on top of it, there's an Octonauty as well! Oh my god! And yes, for anybody curious, this is the last turn of the game. I'll give you 3 guesses as to why. Like, come on. Oh my god, that is savage. Alright, so we're rolling back the clock once again with Kratos here. How to counter the metal cocktail with a metal Tesla. And thanks, by the way, like and subscribe while you're down there. Yep, Kratos has got the idea. If you're watching this on YouTube, help me out with that like and subscribe. Crossed 700 subs the other day. Trying to hit 1,000. Help me out. Help me out. And come by the live stream too. Link for that in the Discord, or of course in the description. If you want to get your own name up in lights here, that's where you do it. In the Discord. Access denied, you'll not pull nothing. Yep. That's hilarious. That last game was ridiculous. That finish was stupid. It was so stupid. I feel like Bad Guy was maybe not at a huge advantage, but definitely had an advantage. Maybe not definitely. But they didn't have to throw the game like that, I guess. Take away all the advantage stuff I was saying, they didn't have to throw the game like that. But in the meantime, let's focus on this game. Kratos here with the signature Baba Haha. Giving up an early panic point advantage, though. We'll say that. We'll say they gave up the early panic point advantage 2-0. This is a map that can kind of ruin stuff. 2 unicorns on one team prove how good this phobia is. I guess because there are 2 trappers? I'll be honest, when I... Wait, what? 2 unicorns on one game prove how good this phobia... Oh, because they're unicorns on both sides, you mean? Unicorn's a very common phobia. I didn't like it early on because of how frail it is. But realistically, it's fine. Frail health-wise, I mean. I'm so good at making sense when I say stuff. I does English good. Believe me, I tell myself off stream when I'm like, man, I really said some stupid stuff. I did not articulate myself well at all. And I like to make myself feel better by saying, well, I have to say a lot of things. I'm talking for hours and hours on end. I'm trying to come up with spur of the moment stuff and try to be funny. And, you know, sometimes you just try too hard and it doesn't work. But I say a lot of dumb things. But in the meantime, we're halfway through this game. Our hero is down under 3k health. And, like, that's a lot of damage. Bank to 8. Laying down traps quite clearly. But they have to do something in this point. Notably, I will point out the Gravedigger. I like calling this out. Because, again, there was another phobia that I was high on, fell off, and then it's come back into fashion again for me. It's a big deal again. This positioning is a little interesting. Okay, there we go. And yes, we do get the block. This is what I was about to say. I was about to point out, unless the Gravedigger can come in and block, this is a little interesting because the Cassowary can easily die. But this allows a stabilization, and it's going to be complex for bad guy to try and invade. They do have 12 keys, 3 of which are getting invested into this Clinico. Got to clear off that poison from the Stabby, I guess. But it looks like we're going to trade out jars. We're going to trade out jars now. Our hero is not aware of that trap in the exact center of the board. The bad guy clearly is. They're also well aware of the fact that it's now a 4-0 panic point advantage. That's kind of a big deal. It won't be for much longer, but it matters. Now, since the jar went down, we would need either this Murder Wing. Okay, so I'm a little... I get it. I was going to say I'm a little surprised the Murder Wing didn't go up to the north to claim that point, but it makes sense in this scenario. Now, here's the thing. Bad guy did not reclaim any of these points. Bad guy did not reclaim any of these points, so this is still a lot of damage, and our hero is suddenly catching up. 4,100 to 2,525. There goes the Metal Cocktail, Metal Tesla incoming. Yep. The Molotov Cocktail Prince himself, Hevo 3.0. Bad guy is able to cap a single point, but it's still a 3-1 panic point advantage for our hero. 450 damage every turn will add up very quickly. Zappy for 6 out of the remaining 8 keys. Ted, and what's going to be the last? I don't understand that Ted positioning. I guess the idea is to... You don't want it next to the heart, so that way it doesn't take splash, but I don't know if that matters. Bad guy, come on. Don't do this. Hold on. Okay, so here's my complaint. You have a lobber. You have a very tanky lobber, even though there is a electrical phobie. Your opponent has, like, no keys, right? They have 1, but nothing they're playing for 1 key gets here right away. You have to account for the fact that there's probably a trap here of some kind. 620 damage. Then there's, 900 damage here. This can come in for another almost 6. You're going to live, right? I'm rounding the numbers. Let's say you live. Why are you killing this Baba Yaga? Who cares? You're not even killing it. You're just damaging it. Move the Stabby here and meatball the heart. You have a panic point advantage. You have them on the ropes. Like, I don't get the splitting of the damage here, because now you've split the damage. They can threaten however many phobies they want to threaten. And they've now body blocked the heart, so the Stabby can't even hit. Baba Yaga goes down. But bad guy is hell-bent on not winning the game. Why are you not just winning the game? Maybe they counted it up and they can't get the damage, but I don't know. I don't know. This feels like they... That feels like a throw. I'd have to go back and count the damage, but I feel as though you should have just gone for it. I feel like bad guys should have just gone for the heart, not split the damage on the phobies. If all that damage that got put on Baba Yaga and all those other phobies had gone on the heart, our hero might have been dead. Oh, I'm not trying to take away the plays you make, Kraos. I think what you did was appropriate. But I feel like bad guy made a mistake there. And again, maybe I didn't count it up. I'm rounding the numbers in my head as I'm casting it, but they walk in with Hevo, they hit the heart. The next turn, they get 2 Hevo hits. So they walk in, hit with Hevo, they fly in, they meatball. They move Stabby up, they have a 3-to-1 panic point advantage, you take 450. So you've now taken, like, 450, somewhere between 900 and 1,000, so then, like, 13 to 1,400 damage. You're now down to, like, 700. Because I think you were at 21. Then they hit with Hevo twice. They probably would not be able to hit with the Murder Wing unless the Stabby can clear the Baba Yaga. But they might be able to make... Like, if the Stabby can clear the Baba Yaga, you're just dead. I don't know if that's actually true, but maybe. And obviously the Hevo doesn't die because it would have died on that turn with the play they made if it was an option. And like I said, maybe I miscounted or I wasn't paying attention to the numbers enough, but it feels like they needed to actually just kill you. All right, so we get another SilverK game going here. This was at the start of the event. I thought maybe my opponent would do some mechanical farming with me. Yes, you can't try to be fun in an event. So for the event that they're talking about, not Fright Night, but in fact a mechanical event that was put on by the devs, we're here on Megalo. SilverK, as mentioned, our hero here in the orange trunks. So we'll have to see how Captain No Fun, Cap over here, bad guy, was ruining the fun of this event. There were 2 trappers on Kratos' team. The enemy suspected there would be a trap there. Probably, what, on the panic point? I mean, I don't think that's an unreasonable assumption. However, the question isn't whether there's a trap. The question is whether the trap matters. And that's the thing. Oh, no! Fried K9. K9000 goes down. So we do get an early boom detonation. I mentioned it in the last few games, but I'm not a fan of these early booms, chap. I'm not a fan of these early booms. I mean, you do get a big chunk of damage on this K9, which is fine, I guess. Like, okay, sure. Get the elimination on the cowbell here, so we're down, what, 1 to 2? 1 to 3, actually. Jin Sting as the follow-up definitely makes sense. Is this a dead unicorn? Big oof. Oh, no. I don't even know that the snowball dies. K9 will. Surely the Jin Sting can do it alone, but still. This is not a good start for our hero. Like, this is brutal. This is brutal. Kill the bees going down. I don't know that the body block from the cat was necessary there. You know, seeing the dynamite there, you'd think Snowball's fireball would do more than just melt that paper pupper. Or melt the pupper, metal pupper. Ah, Jesus Christ, I can't even get this out. Wow. Cap serving themselves some popcorn. Yeah, cooking everything here. SilverK is getting cooked right now. I mean, we're not even talking puns. We're just getting annihilated. That is an aggressive dive onto the Snowball. Snowball's a menace and a half. True story. We get an aggressive dive. This could be a dead... Well, Snowball's dead. Jar is on the board. So this Jin Sting is probably safe. I guess hypothetically, 2 hits. We'll say 600 just to round up. This is a... Whoop. No. Cassowary. Say 1100... This could have been a dead Jin Sting, but they elected instead to kill the Cassowary. Now, I get the Hevo would have taken a lot of damage between the Cassowary and the cat, but, like, why wouldn't you just kill the Jin Sting here? Because I was going to say Murder Wing plus a combination of these would have done it, but I don't know. The follow-up is Temptress and Bad Omen. The Bad Omen's in a bad spot. That being said, bad guy will have to split their choices between what to kill, essentially. So they're going to allow the Bad Omen hit. I wonder if they don't realize that Bad Omen will splash the debuff onto the jar. So this Bad Omen is level 12, 332 debuff. So this is doing literally 0, and this is down to 144. 3 keys remaining for bad guy, 4 for our hero, with a Maggie getting added to the forces. I mean, our hero is stabilized despite all of that. I honestly thought our hero was in a horrendous position. Oh, that's 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 3, 5... 7, 8, 9. And despite all that, it really feels like our hero is in complete control of this game. Clinico is the final phobie, heals up the Evo? I mean, sure, but look at that. You get the Clinico heal, and the freaking Hevo's basically dead again. Clobster as the final phobie from our hero. The jar aggressively diving. The jar wants all the smoke. Chat. We've been looking for a good Temptress game for a while. Apparently, this is it. Wow. SilverK just dominating. SilverK just dominating. Well played. Well played. I mean, I was saying it a minute ago, but it looked like crap for our hero. It looked real bad. Looks can be deceiving. GG. All right, last game for this evening on Mount Blight. Redwick coming at you in the blue trunks. I am Spiky Beetle Spiky. See till the end of the game and you'll see my fame. All right. Those are, in fact, some notes. How many games are left? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Only 4 in... After this one, there's only 4 in the spreadsheet. I'm sure it's going to fill up this week. So Redwick appropriately taking a more aggressive opener. He's Spiky Beetle Spiky. What else can be said? I mean, what more needs to be said? The poetry that is Spiky Beetle Spiky. You got me. I still prefer putting Cassowary. I mean, maybe we'll see if Redwick is banking to a particular phobie in this case, which doesn't appear to be the case. But the Cassowary in the middle just gives you a lot more flexibility because you can threaten a whole bunch of things, obviously, right? As it stands, it's a 5-3 panic point advantage. It's now a 4-4 panic point advantage. But that's going to be a dead Cassowary. It's going to be a dead Cassowary one way or another. Boomer supplements bad guys' forces, burns through all their keys in conjunction with the Innocuous. I don't think I would have killed it this way, just so that way you could put the cat here, possibly, but maybe they just didn't want to do that. Bo Mangles makes an attempt to lock down these points. But as we've said before, Mount Blight is a pretty aggressive map. It can be very aggressive. You have to make sure you get onto the table and actually contest things right away, or you can find yourself very quickly in a bad spot. This is likely just a dead Inoculus, right? The only question is whether the Ray dies. Because I get the sense bad guy didn't see that play with the cat. Like, I feel like they just didn't see the play with the cat. Now, I'm not sure I'm sold on invading with this. That seems unnecessary. Because if bad guy's going to kill this Ray... Yeah, how are they... Okay, they're not even going to try for it. I was going to say, like, they probably can meatball, snowball, and... I guess there isn't really much else they could reach. But, yeah, they can snipe this. There's 2 walking eye drop ads, and they're definitely going to be duking it. Yep. We get matching Stairmasters. Get matching Stairmasters, which is not something you see very often. That's kind of a pun, but not really. Like, that one's a really lazy pun if you count that. Get the challenge play here, thanks to Boomer. Our hero's kind of crapping on bad guy here. 3, 4, 5, 6. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The thing is that it's just way more relevant Phobies. It's like, yeah, it's sort of close in the key count, but there's way more relevant Phobies dead for bad guy than our hero. Like, more valuable assets. And we get another Cyclops. We have been getting a lot of those tonight. A lot of Cyclops. Bad guy content to play defensively, but Bo Mangles is having none of that. Cyclops isn't really bad, what can I say? I don't mind Cyclops. But it's funny that the debate is always about Cyclops versus Stairmaster, and then we've had these games where both of them show up. This seems unnecessary. To a degree, yes, you want to get the Ray back in action faster, but is it really necessary to do it right now? I feel like these 3 keys could have been put to better use. Still waiting for that spiky beetle? Exactly. Waiting for that spiky beetle. Bo goes down, unsurprisingly. I don't know that Bo's sacrifice here was worth it. I think Stairmaster will start to be good play for Mesophobe. It could be. I mean, I've talked about that before. The scenario, I think right before Mesophobe came back, or came out, there was a discussion on stream about how, what scenarios is Stairmaster better than Cyclops? Ones where you need more damage. And a Heart Rush is one of them in one of the scenarios that I suggested. There you go. Stairmaster's just going to line up and just start eye-beaming everything. Wait until that's an Apple product, the eye-beam. Fish Tank coming out, going to square off up against Barzilla. Sure. This, I presume, is a dead stabby. Like, lol, the Clinico assassination, so that way Ray Chargels can kill the jar. Bad guy still has 8 keys, so it's entirely possible that they can punish our hero here, eliminate these 2, but even that, wow, Dr. Dermick? Sure? High 5? Other high-pitched question-sounding exclamations? What is happening? Tell me this high 5 is dead. Tell me this high 5 killed a Clinico and just dies. Okay, at least it lives, but Which begs the question, why are you still here as our hero? Like, this is unnecessary. I guess maybe they did the math and it can't kill anything. Oh, it'll kill that. Why is Fish Tank retreating? Fish Tank versus Barzilla would slap as a kaiju movie. That would actually be hilarious. I don't even know what's happening in this game. What if there's a leap ability with AoE damage? What, just in general? Or do you mean on... Like, what do you mean, Onda? Like, if there's a new phobie with that? I don't think that's unreasonable. It's not any different than a ranged phobie having it. I mean, it's inherently weaker, right? Well, maybe not. I guess it's inherently weaker, but not strictly weaker. So after all of that, it's Fish Tank, Stairmaster, and Dermic versus Barzilla and Stairmaster. Like, what the hell is this game, chat? 54-10 to 50-45. Panic point advantage significantly in favor of our hero. In fact, it's a 6-2. But bad guy has a lot of damage going down onto the heart. Like, this is a lot. I see where Spiky Beetle's coming. I was about to say that, Kraos. I was about to, because I'm looking at the keys. I'm like, we haven't seen a numbskull yet. And now we have. The funny part is the numbskull body blocks the Stairmaster out. The numbskull body blocks the Stairmaster out, so it would have to sink time into killing it. For all you numbskull fans out there, there it is. There it is. Well played, Redwick. Well played. Numbskull's sacrifice was not in vain. Aggressively, Scrungle. GG, Redwick. GG. Well done. Well done. Call it a night. We'll be back tomorrow for Variety. I'm not quite sure what we'll be streaming. I'll have to figure it out during the day, but I also have to do a ton of video editing because of all the stuff that we did this weekend. A lot of stuff. So if you're catching this on YouTube, as I said 1,000 times, likes and subscribes, links in the Discord, and of course, check out all the Fright Night action and all the pack opening and all the other stuff that has gone up, hopefully before this video, or will be going up in short order. But for now, everybody, that's going to do it. So as always, everyone, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And Black Lives Matter.